Well, it's not just Democrats screaming bloody murder over the proposed tax cut compromise. Some Republicans are fired up too, but for very different reasons. Republican Congressman Scott Garrett joins us live. Good evening, sir.
Good to be with you tonight. Thanks a lot.
Well, you must not be particularly popular with other Republicans because you don't like this compromise. Why not?
Well, actually, I was just listening into the previous segment with Rick Santorum. I think I heard him saying somewhere near the end of that is, could Republicans actually could the American public actually get a better deal if this doesn't happen right now, if we did actually the beginning of the next term when Republicans control the House and Republicans are in a larger percentage in the Senate at that period of time? I think that's a good question that he raises. And as Americans look for certainty, as they have been over the last, 2 years, and not getting it from whether it's health care and the 2,000 pages there, or the FinReg and the 2,300 pages there, and the whole way that the administration's been handling this, I think that's an excellent question that we all should be asking right now.
All right, but one of the things that you don't like is the fact that the tax cuts aren't permanent. But under the proposed deal, they'll be permanent for 2 years. You got 2 years to go in there and slug it out and get it done. Hopefully not the night before like is being done now. But you'd have 2 years to extend it longer, and if it were working, to persuade others as well.
Sure. So right now we're looking at an economy where we're hovering with unemployment at around 9.5%, sometimes almost 10% in some parts of the country, over 20% in other parts of the country. You have to ask businessmen, what will it take for you to sit back and say, I have money sitting on the sidelines right now, I'm ready to get back into the economy, I want to make those investments, what will encourage you to do so? Well, certainly health care is one, energy is the other, financial regulation is another area that they need to have certainty in this area as well. Is 2 years a long enough period of time for businesses to make that decision? A number of economists have said, no, it's not. A number of economists says that before businesses actually will make that jump into the marketplace and say, I'm going to invest, literally millions of dollars out of my pocket or out of my investors' pockets, I want to have a longer horizon on that. So if we're only getting...
But on the flip side, that even if you got a permanent one,
right.
2 years from now, it could come in and change it anyway. So, I mean, nobody's ever...
Oh, sure.
Even a, quote, permanent tax cut is you guys could come in a year and a half from now and change it anyway. So it's a little bit of a fiction to say that that 2 year line is in any way instructive or definitive for the American taxpayer.
It is and it isn't. I mean, look, the Bush tax cuts were put in place, and they put in for the period of time that they were in, and they were not cut back during any period of that time. Whether the Democrats controlled the House, and certainly Republicans were not going to do that when we controlled the administration. So they did not do that because they know that once you have a tax cut in place, it is very hard, just as we're seeing right now, to say that they want to raise taxes on anybody. So if we could actually do the very best, which would be to make these tax cuts permanent, that would be the best situation. If we could do it for a 10-year period, or as George Bush did it, able for the 9-year period of time or what have you, that would be the next best. That's where we should be aiming for.
All right. How bad a problem is waste?
Waste in the government, waste, fraud, and abuse is all out there. But look, we're not going to be able to...
What are you doing? What are you doing about it?
Well, ever since I came into Congress, I serve on the Budget Committee. We call on the cabinet members, doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrats. When the administration came in from when George Bush was in the White House, and we had the DOD come in there, that's one agency that's never able to give us a really fixed and certified budget. We hold their feet to the fire, and so
you don't get it.
And we don't get it, and we continue to push.
But I mean, obviously you're not getting the product. Continuing to push is not a satisfactory answer. What is it going to take for you guys actually to get a product? Because the American people are paying billions in fraud and waste.
Well, one of the things you can do is change the way that the operation works in Congress, change the way the bills come through the system. It may sound all into the weeds and that sort of thing. But, one of the reasons why you get waste is because you have appropriations bills that are this big, that may have this much in them that are good, but this much in them that are bad. But because they have some good things in them, they pass. So what our new leadership under Leader-elect Boehner is going to do is to try to put in bills that are narrower in focus so that we can really tackle those aspects and say, this is a good part of the bill, there's no waste here, let's pass it, and let's segregate out those portions and we'll vote them down. That's a new way to handling Congress, and I applaud our leadership for trying to do so.
Congressman, thank you, and I hope you also go back retroactively and try to collect any unspent money that has been fraudulently or wastefully appropriated as well. Not fraudulently, but wastefully appropriated. Thank you, sir.
And that is something we should need to do as well, and that we can do that under the new methodology that we're doing here. Thank you.